Hey, what's going on, everybody? Here we go. Here we go.
What's up? What's
Flawless
up?
and Sloan Morse coming back at you guys again for another one of our lives. And this one is going to be epic. We're going to roll through the comments real quick. It was a ton of early birds today. K and D, what's going on? Yep. Frank, the homie. Last stream of the year. Man. And this is what, 42? This is number 42.
You. Yep.
Man, think about it. Another 10 episodes. We've been rocking out doing this live every 2 weeks. At that point, episode 52 will be 2 years straight, since we started doing this. So that's awesome. Talk about
Yes.
consistency.
I would like to say, excuse
Consistency.
me, my shirt is tighter than Will's today. I don't know what happened.
Hey, look, I'm going to say it since we're on a live. I'm going to mumble it, You're a midget. So, you shop at the infant department. You wearing the toddler shirt. So I'm going to let that slide. I'm going to let it slide. But Nikki. Now, everybody watching, if you ain't tapped in to Irresistible Ball, Nikki, go over to Instagram and follow her. Follow her here on YouTube as well. Man, we've been commenting back and forth. We're actually coming up. We're going to do an episode on their channel as well. And the grind is real. We were going back and forth this week. They were rolling out with schedules, supporting everybody that do live and podcasts like these. I really love that because that's one of the staples, much like how we're trying to do and bring everybody together who wants to be together. And we can really make the industry and the hobby better overall. And I definitely see her being a staple in the community because it's definitely, she's doing a lot of selfless promoting. Takes a lot of.
She just had a live. She just had a live right before this, so go check that out because I see Brian from Brian was on the video today too. He was in the comments also. He's in Hatchery.
JDDM, what's going on? Shauna, much love to Shauna. That's another one that's been literally showing a ton of support.
So,
I see her almost in every single video. Yeah.
2025.
Yeah,
she is coming on live. I'm telling her she's coming on live.
Let's get it. Wow. Really early on the super chat. Really appreciate it. Cold Fusion is another one that's a frequent flyer around here, commenting on all the videos. Very supportive. Man, we're going to keep it rocking and rolling the entire time through. Malay, Audra's in the comments as well.
Audra.
We're brands. We're constantly responding to both YouTube pages, which is quite interesting at times. But we're used to having our hands full. Fred, the homie, man, he messages me every morning telling me good morning, and it's pretty awesome. I love it. Keep it coming, man. I really appreciate that. A lot of things in this hobby, you can, handle with kid gloves, but at the same time, you never know what somebody else is going through. In their private life, they may be going through any type of struggles. And, sometimes it's very simple things like that, or in the inbox on Instagram or wherever you contact people can really kind of continue to motivate people to move forward. That's how I see it. So I really appreciate that. Infinite, what's going on? The homie. He's always on there.
The chat every day.
Yeah, and Will. Man, we've done business together as well. So he's got some flawless production over there in his camp, and he has quite the collection already. So I'm looking for big things coming from him. And the queen herself, what's going on? Princess Anna, what's good? Always good to hear from her. So what's going on, Dustin? Oh yeah, I got a couple more real quick before we jump out of here. What's going on, Dustin? What's going on? And also, the man, the myth, the legend himself. He came through. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Stay tuned. We're going to tear it up today on this Sunday. And Sammy, what's going on? So today we are bringing on someone that I'm even going to find out a lot of information about. I've recently started following him, and it's Visionary Exotics. We're going to dig a little bit into William, the owner of it, his path. He's been doing it for a while. I'm going to be taking notes. You should too. Darren knows him a little bit better than I do. Darren's been in the game. He's a dinosaur at this point, but he's a newbie too. to electronics. It's like trying to teach your grandfather how to use a cell phone. You know, that's how we walk. We're trying to walk Darren in on baby steps. But we're gonna do this thing, and while we continue to go through the comments, without further ado, we're gonna bring William on. What's going on, bro? Good. So right out the gate, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your, profession that you do, if you care to share, and how long you've been working with ball pythons?
So I am a operations analyst. Basically, I build small programs for pharmaceutical companies, for doctors, groups of doctors' offices to get paid off rebates on drugs that they order, specifically oncology drugs. As far as ball pythons, started yesterday. Got some normals. Went to Petco and bought them, and I'm hoping for the best, guys. Hoping for the best.
Hope you didn't get mites.
Right, yeah. No, so I bought my first pair. Bought a pair of Lessers back in 2007, June of 2007,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of built from there. I've done super dwarf retics, I've done mainland retics, anacondas, boas. That's it. Oh, leopard geckos and African fat tails too.
Oh, leopard geckos, nice. We do the other side of them, the cresteds.
Yeah,
cool. If you were working with the retic, that's a very big bodied snake. So, how are you housing them, or how many did you have at one particular time? What were you looking like space-wise?
So I had it was 10 mainland retics and 4 super dwarf retics. So 14 total. Yeah, dude, that's another ball game right there. Like sourcing rabbits and making sure everybody's fed. It's not like rats, man.
No.
It's I commend people who do that. That's not for me.
So when you source rabbit, are you also have a certain quality of rabbit that you're looking for? Do you have bad, feeder quality on a regular basis that pop up here and there? What issues do you face? With
retics, dude, I never had a bad feeder. It's not like ball pythons. They're coming.
Yeah.
They're coming. They don't care. They don't care. It doesn't even have to be really heated. The rabbit doesn't have to be, because I was feeding frozen thawed. The rabbit can be room temp. They don't care.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not like ball pythons if you're feeding frozen thawed, where it's that's a little too wet. I don't want to eat that today.
Gotcha. And what's the frequency?
What, for retic feeding?
Yeah.
Dude, I was feeding them every week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Wow.
Yeah, I had a 6 foot tall freezer full of rabbits, just rabbits by themselves that had to get restocked.
What did a rabbit normally cost?
Dude, I think I was paying $1 a pound, which was a lot. I mean, when you're feeding 10-pound rabbits, that can quickly add up.
Right.
But I mean, I was restocking the freezer once every 2 to 3 months, just banging them out.
Wow.
Because they were sourced locally. I had to drive about half an hour to go get them.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I mean, it was I found a guy who, agreed to raise them because he was doing meat rabbits at the time. And, I told him flat out what they were for. I was like, I need this many, certain poundage of, I need 20 that are between, 5 and 6, another 30 that are between 10 and 12. Yeah, he didn't. Okay.
Now, this may sound like an uneducated city boy question. What's a meat rabbit?
They're the white rabbits that they're not like the wild type rabbits. They're more bred for basically meat. They're like chickens. They get bigger faster.
To actually eat it.
Yeah. People actually eat them.
Wow.
So it's not like a jackrabbit. we have.
No, man. Not like the stuff you see around Texas or like the wild rabbits. It's not like that at all.
Well, I know the jokes is coming. I'm a city boy through and through, so I had no clue.
I didn't know either. I was like, hey.
It's all good, man. Born and raised in Tennessee, so
okay.
it's.
I wouldn't mind trying that. I wouldn't mind trying rabbits.
I'm definitely not against it. City boy, but my grandparents are both south. I mean, to Cuda stew and eating raccoon and possum, and I can say I've had it, but I will never eat it.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah,
Cuda, I'm not eating
sea
no
turtle,
raccoon.
No.
I'm not eating that. Nope, I'm good.
So I'm done with that side of things.
No,
but
not eating all that.
So how are you doing as far as on the rodent side of things now? Are you still doing frozen thawed? Or are you doing live with the balls?
Dude, I do live. I don't have time for frozen thawed. The collection's small. Like I think it's jumped back up to 74 ball pythons only. But with work, school, them just trying to have just a personal life period. Yeah, I don't have time for that. I just
Are you teaching or
no? I'm in school for to get a degree in software engineering.
Oh wow, nice. Very, very smart man here. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So how'd you even get in? And I know it's slightly off base of the reptiles, but how'd you even fall into or study up on the field that you're in, your career? How'd you get into that? It seems so hyper.
Honestly, man, I kind of fell into it because my parents come from a medical background. My dad was a pharmacist. Mom worked for St. Jude. And I was on schedule to take the PCAT, have the interview at UT Memphis Pharmacy School. And I remember the day I was like, I remember telling my dad, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I just didn't want to do it. It didn't appease me at all. With the data side, I'll be honest, man, I just kind of fell into that. I just started doing stuff in Excel, really kind of, gained ground on that. And then, Excel led to Python, Python led to SQL, SQL leads to, Power BI. And I just kind of did it. It just kind of came natural. I don't know.
Gotcha. How'd you come up with Visionary Exotics?
So at the time, I was looking for something different, just something that kind of stood out. And to see, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I mean, in this line of work, you have to have either a true vision to make it work. Whether it's seeing in the future, looking in the past. I mean, you just have to have a vision.
That's true.
Gotcha.
I did move out of the locker room. I did.
Blimey, boy. You gotta love them.
I mean, it was a tent. Get it right.
Man. And now you're up to 73. So we're going to talk about one thing really, really quick, because we started talking about it in the backstage, but the Zuadi gene. How do you go about acquiring that, and when?
So I had import-export for a long time, and I don't know, the import game has always fascinated me with dinkers and just, potentially something new. So back then it was a lot different. When I say back then, it was 2009. You could get pictures directly from exporters out in Africa. And just to kind of date myself, I was rolling a BlackBerry back then. And the pictures would come in and it would go line by line by line by line by line. It wasn't how it is now, how it's oh, well, let me just pull up this website and see what's going on. Like you're looking at something in the dirt. It's blurry. Like maybe they held it up. Maybe they didn't. It could be morning. It could be in the middle of the afternoon. I don't know. And something just struck me on it. Cause like you could still get like some really cool stuff like before like the asphalt stuff started coming in and things really started cracking down. Like obviously bananas and lessers and stuff like that, they were gatekeepers for them. But again, you could get some really neat stuff. And that was she just struck me as different. And so I got her in, took me years to, just get her up to size. Cause I mean, she's from the wild, and then she comes into a tub, and it's like, well, now what do you do? And back then information wasn't as prevy as it is now. You couldn't join a Patreon and be like, hey, I got this import and I can't get it to eat. What do I do? Like the information was not like that at all.
Exactly.
A lot of trial and error, man. And, finally in 2016, she gave me a clutch, and it was crazy. And I remember calling Ben Rennick and, showing him pictures, and I was like, what is this? And he was like, dude, it looks like you got something new, man. What are you going to call it? I was like, I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. So, it took a couple of days of research. I bounced some names off of them. And finally it hit me like Zawadi. So the spelling Zawadi, in Swahili, it means the gift. And how it's pronounced is Zuwadi, Zuwadi. So I was like, okay, so for marketing purposes, it's going to be easier for me to market Zoo instead of Za. And it's like, I won't have to correct anything. But it means the gift. And where that came from was that clutch hatched on my birthday back in 2016. And it was a gift. I was like, holy wow. Okay. So that's where it comes from.
Wow. And as far as the combinations you've seen it in and do certain things in, what's some of the more impressive ones?
So it does well with like red stripes, it does well with granite jeans, but I'll be 1,000%, man. I haven't messed with that jean since late 2018, early 19. So I can't say, I can only tell you like up to 2018 for sure, like what was going on. After that, I don't know, man.
Okay. And I think that's good though, especially being on a platform like this, a lot of new breeders, aspiring breeders, enthusiasts, and some intermediates and some dinosaurs like Limey, get tuned in here. But talking about a gene that, you brought in, you imported yourself, and it's still to this day, essentially untapped. I think, even in this day and age, a lot of people are so scared, on not having a productive season, maybe a female don't go or male don't breed, stay focused, but at the same time, like things ain't always gonna go well for you. This got to be
you want to hear a sad story? I got one now.
Go ahead.
I got one with the odds. So sunset het hypo to an orange dream yellow belly double het sunset hypo. Okay. 0 sunsets, 0.
Whoa.
1 hypo, and all the rest normals.
What? Are you serious?
Odds. The odds of that.
I just cut it like 2 hours before I came on here. And I was like, well, that's awesome.
Just before the show, I have a hurt before they.
Oh my gosh.
Like my mind's racing. Like, okay, do I I'm rethinking like jeans in the collection? Like, how can I make it better? Do I need to take a year off? Like, what needs to happen? So yeah.
Did you produce that double visual?
So the sunset het hypo and the double het were both purchased from Brock.
Okay.
Just the odds, man. Like it just.
Yep.
It
Nah,
happens.
that's hey, it does because it's happened to me for years. Don't even worry.
Hey.
I couldn't learn my lesson.
Yeah, he told me about that. Yeah,
I, I
he
couldn't learn
told
my
me
lesson. I
about
kept
that.
trying. It's gonna happen.
Wow. So the sunset and the hypo. What's some of the other genes you're working with, the recessive and incomplete dominance now?
So I got a lot of normals, a lot of those super normals. No, just got into the paint.
Okay. Yeah.
Still very young into that. Puzzle,
Ooh.
obviously hypo, sunset.
Mhm.
Got some clown stuff. Nothing. Some VPI. Nothing. Nothing. Nobody else is working.
Gotcha.
I mean, I got some imports that are
Mhm.
being shed tested right now.
Right.
But
Now, when you shake test the imports, are you kind of
I'll run
trying
a
to get
full
them coded?
panel.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I
Trying
just
to see
need to
what.
know, like, okay, so they're not, het desert ghost, het clown, making
Right. So
sure they're
when you
not in the chocolate realm or like Wookiee or,
right.
something like that. Because if it
Wow.
is, like, they're
Look,
gone.
you're spitting game already, to us newbies. That's something I never even thought about. I'm not big on the imports just yet. Haven't really dug too deep. I have some stuff that, that have kind of like working our own gene here, but now I'm probably going to lean toward doing what you just did right now because that's smart. Kind of rule out the things that's already in there without having to kind of breed and see what's popping out and knowing for sure. I never even thought about it from the backhand side. So that's really smart. I
Because
think
that
that's
makes
money
it,
well spent.
yeah, I mean, that makes it a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful thing. Like, you can spend 130,
Right.
even stack on jeans for like 150, even $200 if you want to. And at least you know what it's not. And I'd
Yeah.
rather it come
Exactly.
back all negative, all of it,
Mm-hmm.
and be like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I know what it's not. So if I breed it to this, it's going to be okay.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
That is
Or like you said, if it
yeah.
comes up as, has a gene that's already there, you're like,
yeah,
oh,
if it's like
you're
Wookiee or
traveling.
chocolate or, like it's gone. Like, no.
Right.
You and your
Right.
Because I'm not,
zebra with Wookie?
I'm no, well, I mean, I'm not doing another line of it. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
that game. I'm
Right.
into, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do something new. Like something,
Right.
Nobody's ever seen before. Like, not, a visionary line of Wookiee. No.
Okay. So over the years, has that frustrated you? Because you've been doing this for a while now, where you see genes and maybe you can visually see that it is another gene, and someone names it something else and kind of pushes it.
Frustrate, meaning like just
Frustrate
get on
you?
my
Like,
nerves
okay,
or.
why not? Yeah, because I can see it now where, a lot of things where they test, what was it, Hurricane and Trick,
Hurricane
and,
Blitz and
you
Trick.
had a lot of people,
Static.
battling this is better
Fusion.
than that, and then when it comes and tests out, it's like, okay, well, it's the same genetic, gene. So at the end of the day, what are people fighting and fussing over? They're kind of trying to fight and fuss over notoriety. Maybe, since I have this version of the gene, it's better than the other. And maybe it's branding purposes. I get that, but still, it's it's all just snakes. And we still have a lot of genes out there. But if they consolidated all the ones that truly are the same, the lesser, the butter, the banana, the coral glow, it kind of simplifies a lot of things for especially new breeders. But it just kind of, I guess, removes notoriety for the person who maybe originated that line. But if it's the same, it's the same.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
That's on them, man.
Right.
That ain't on,
Right.
that ain't on me. That is what it
Right.
is. Like,
Mm.
I don't have an answer for that because there's too many politics involved.
Yeah. I think
Gotcha.
over time,
Yeah.
over time, a lot of these people get out of it, and nobody's gonna
Mhm.
really actually remember who brought in certain genes.
No.
Right.
I mean, you look at Morph Market, yeah, it says it, but who brought in the clown?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, who
Yeah.
brought in the
I
clown?
couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you at all. Oh.
I'm waiting for that answer for somebody to say, "Hey, I know who brought in the clown." Nobody
Mm-mm.
knows.
So, how many pairings are you shooting for this this season?
I Maybe 10. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not into like mass production. I
Right.
can't. I don't have the infrastructure to hold that.
Mhm.
Let alone like it. I could push 30. I don't want to.
Right. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. And again, work, school, life,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
I'm all right on that. I
Right.
don't want to spend, 4 days a week cleaning, 1,000 tubs. Like I'm good.
Exactly. Exactly. And you're doing it all on your own? You have any family help?
No, it's all me, man.
Oh,
Okay.
you sound like me. You sound like me.
Yeah,
On
like
my own.
I just can't. Like I just can't. And it doesn't appease me anymore cuz like I did it like back in 2014, 2015, like running the when I had all of that stuff. Dude, it's exhausting. It is
Mhm.
exhausting. And
Yeah.
it yeah. No. No. Short answer is no.
Now, I will ask you, back in that day when you were doing it at a much larger level or scale, um, if you remember, what were your kind of short-term goals back then? Was it to produce what was kind of selling in the hobby, or was it every breeding you did was for your focus on what you wanted to produce?
Dude, at that time I was just trying to survive. Like it
Okay.
was just, okay, what do I need to do to bring in more revenue stream? Like
Love it.
what needs to be pushed harder because they
Mhm.
produce more eggs, or,
Right.
you know, like the retics didn't sell that great, so we need to back off that. Like it's just
Right.
it was just it almost felt like you were just surviving day to day. Even though you had a plan, it was just like, okay, it's not like being on your own is not like corporate where you go in, you have like your certain number of things that you do, and then you go home. Like you don't know what the day is going to bring. Like you may have on the schedule that you're going to, clean tubs all day, but yeah, rack might break and you're spending half the day trying to source that. So it
Mhm.
just like I'm good. I don't want to do this full time. Um, I commend, you that do it full time,
Mhm.
but that's not, man, that's why Baskin Robbins has 32 flavors. Vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry are just not for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Yep. No,
I
that's
agree.
true. That's true.
I agree.
Yeah.
And
So
that's also
you've
part of the
also seen.
platform, getting everybody. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say you've seen
I was saying,
people come and go, just like
oh
everything
yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
that's what I was
just,
going to
I wonder how many
Wow.
people in the chat know Anthony McCain.
I don't. I've never even heard of them.
McCain.
Hmm.
Why does that
Mystic.
name ring a bell? He what?
He imported the Mystic.
Really?
Oh, okay. So okay,
Mhm.
because now that's where it's Mystic and Phantom's another
Yeah,
one, and
yeah.
they say it's the same gene. So who imported the other one?
Ralph Davis.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he did the Phantom. Anthony McCain did the Mystic. Um and yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
Why you say it
I'm
like
sure
that?
some stories come along with that one.
So you come in where the OG beef, where there was like real beef. I mean,
Oh
everybody
yeah,
right now.
they would hold that on like Ralph Davis forums for like 6 months and duke it out in Chicago or Daytona. And I'm
Wow.
talking like fight, not like,
Yeah.
oh, you hurt my
Really?
feet on Instagram yesterday. No, this was like full blown, like balls to the wall fighting.
Yeah.
Right. Right. See, I missed all of that. But me and Darren was talking about like the dog game. We used to both be in the bully game way back when. We didn't even know each other. And it was pretty much just like that. They
Yeah.
show up to literally you had people that showed up to shows knowing they showed up to that show, traveled to
So
that show,
yeah.
knowing they were going to jail.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Like
that's
it's
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy. And I look back in the day, just seeing $75,000-$100,000 on a table just for one animal, like just like a pied combo or something, and not even anything like clown pied, hypo. Add 5 other codoms in there. No, we're just talking about like a clown pied or something.
Wow.
Like just
something you
just
can
like
mass produce.
stupid. Yeah, just like stupid.
Crazy.
I mean,
crazy.
a pair of lessers were $2,000. The Phantoms,
right there.
yeah, the Phantoms were between 7 and 10 a pair. Just a pair of Phantoms.
Yeah, because when they make that the purple snake, everybody was. When I got in it, that purple snake was $5,000. So when they made that purple snake, how much was it then?
So in Daytona, I remember going to Ralph Davis's table in 2008, and it wasn't for sale. It was there, but it was not for sale.
So think about that. Everybody's like, okay, now I'm gonna just breed these together, make the supers. After going forward, and that's it. We're not really thinking nothing else. And
yeah, that was it. Like that was the cutoff. Like that was it. That was the mindset. Like even when I got the lessers, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make white snakes, and that's as far as that went.
Right. I mean, there's still people that still have that mindset. They still have that mindset, and it may not be the popular belief. I don't think you can survive and have that mindset now. I just don't think it goes.
Yeah. Doing
even then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man. Yeah, agreed. Even the pet trade, man.
That went down a lot.
It's interesting how much it's grown. Just this whole thing from back then to now.
Yeah,
and people are so worried. Oh my God, it's gonna crash. This, that, these, and those. Honestly, I couldn't be more excited. Because for one, the care of animals has gone up tremendously. Like people are having fights about what rats they, feed their snakes. Dude, back in 2007, it was whatever it'll eat. Like it was just a different game. It didn't, there wasn't this fight on our regular rats or African soft furs or mice, like which one's the best. Oh, well, you feed African soft furs, so you're on a different level than there was none of that. None. So it's interesting now to see like just the quality of care that goes into the animals compared to back then. And
that's crazy because you kind of seen the different type of arguments that have evolved and then different goals from what it was before to now. It's like just to see that different steps, and you're like, why are you guys arguing about this? We used to feed.
Yeah, I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like,
but humans naturally will find something to fight about over. I don't know why, but we just do.
Yeah,
but
like
wisdom. You gained that wisdom over your tenure of doing this. You just have it. Yeah.
Yeah, like the whole.
They're gonna continue to fight over it.
Yeah, it trips me out just with what's being fed. Like that's a true argument conversation. Like,
oh yeah. We got a good question for you.
Before that was out of it. Out of the ordinary. What'd you feed that was out of the ordinary than now?
I fed gerbils.
Really?
Yeah. To some of the import stuff. Yeah, to some of the import stuff. Yeah. Like it wouldn't eat like rats or mice or anything. And back then I didn't know anything about African soft furs. Yeah, I fed gerbils off.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Never knew that was an option. But Dustin got a question about what genetic that are you working with now that's like permanently in your collection? Stuff that you maybe have the bulk of in your collection.
Dude, I don't know. That's permanently, that's a tough one. Honestly, I don't have one answer to that. I can't say for sure what one gene I would keep permanently in the collection. I think right now there's such a wide spread of genes that are out there. like I can see, I can see paint going a little farther. I can see even clown going farther. Like there's still so much to do with clown.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what puzzle brings to the table.
Very.
The highlighter genes such as Desert Ghost and Hypo. I think that can complement any gene, whether it's codom or recessive. I don't have a one permanent gene. I hope that answered that question. If not, feel free to expand on it.
What gene wouldn't you keep in the collection?
What gene? What
gene wouldn't you keep in the collection?
Don't like.
Wouldn't I keep in the collection?
Yeah.
So I got rid of Ultramil.
What? Wow. Okay.
I dumped all my Ultramil.
The reason?
Nice.
I don't want to be a part
no
of
interest in it.
I don't want to be a part of, which one do you have, Monarch or Ultramil? Yeah, I got none. How about that? None. I just, I didn't really have anything to go with it. For future purposes. Like I had, a couple of Ultramel pied het hypos, Ultramel double het pied hypos. I'm just not into that anymore. How I was back when I first started getting back in 20. I just not. So
makes sense. You got to do things that interest you.
Yeah.
Even Brian said he loved that mindset. Love it.
I mean, these dudes talking about I want to fight him over the cheeks, and then I see him in person. I can't get that out of my... You know what was crazy? Now I'm gonna think that because I wasn't even thinking about that because it just goes and forget. But now every time you look at me, I'm like, oh yeah, you thinking about my cheeks, man.
And the crazy thing about that reel, did you see that reel, William?
No.
His reel?
Thank God.
Oh my God. You should thank God. And the wife, she's sitting there.
IG is on there. If you ever want to know, go to Batman's IG, it's on there.
I did the little edit and did, the 15 minutes of lame and the audio and added it, when he sent it to me. And Audra was sitting there like, what are you doing? She's watching me sit there, rerun it, place it. She's like, I'm like, don't worry about it. You'll see.
This is grown man business. Don't worry about this.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she was afraid of.
Hey, so everybody that's in the chat will has you guys beat of watching it. Because how many times you had to replay it?
At least 20 times trying to get everything lined up and the audio to cue in at the right man.
But that's legitimate reasoning for rewatching it, though. Just know that.
Dead. Oh my gosh.
Man, I had fun doing the show. What did you think? Did you have fun doing it?
Oh yeah, it was. So I'll be honest. I'll say this on air. I think I got in Adam's head a little bit, which was funny to me.
Proper Royals.
Yeah, which was funny to me.
I was a little bit like, because I never really seen you except for when you did the interview with Fat Man, but I thought you were like serious, like, wow, he's getting Adam. He was kinda...
So what's funny is that really, like, everybody, I got a couple of messages. Yeah, you went really hard. I'm like, no, I didn't. Like that's not hard at all. Period.
It's because you don't have a facial expression. You were just still so serious. Like, okay, I'm gonna answer it this way.
Yeah.
And nobody knew the personality. Now you.
Well, what tripped me out was like, when he said, and I didn't even realize I did this, but he was like, okay, I'm gonna turn the tables, or I'm gonna like swap the tables or turn the tables on you. Like I raised my eyebrows, and I remember that. I remember when he said it, I was like, oh, you're gonna try. That's what I was thinking internally, right when he said it. Like, oh yeah, so now I'm gonna flip the table on you. I was like, okay, yeah, you're gonna try.
Yeah, but you just thought it in your head and said it out loud.
I didn't say it out loud. Like you can see on the replay, like my eyebrows go up, and like right then, my exact thought was, yeah, you're gonna try. But yeah, that wasn't me going hard at all. I just thought that was honestly fun.
Oh my God.
Spam it over. Shauna, how many times did you watch it?
You know, you gained a fan over there with DJ. You know, I think he got it as his wallpaper. Glizzy over there. And Josh. But so you're doing all your own rodent production now, or are you picking up?
No, God, no.
Yeah, that was fine. He said no.
Yeah. So I tried that too. Tried breeding them. Dude, I'm highly allergic. Like highly. Like need an inhaler, highly allergic. Like, yeah. So I tried it out in the garage. Dude, I was blowing through those 3M painter masks. Like they wouldn't last more than 2 cleanings before I could, start having the asthma attacks through the masks.
Really?
So
yeah. And
is it just the rodents, or is it a little bit of the bedding mixed with their urine and feces?
So it may be a combination of both, how they kick all that up, because it's mice, African soft furs, and rats.
Oh, wow.
So, and how bad it is. So if they like, even the frozen thaw, like if, you know how they'll scratch you like on your hand or whatever, dude, my hand will like swell where they scratch. So I can't do that. I just can't. Like I'll die.
Yep. I noticed it was certain bedding that they were in would react my asthma.
Yeah.
And I changed the bedding, and then that slowly changed everything else.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you running like hemp or something?
No, right now I'm doing just pine. I'm doing pine.
Okay.
But
it
was it was a certain brand, and I can't remember the brand, but once I started picking up from Tractor Supply, it was like night and day. But as soon as I could touch it and everything and put it in there with them, but as soon as they start peeing
like
on it and everything,
messing around.
Yeah, everything was shut down. I can't breathe. I gotta open everything up like all the way. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, but you're
just
at a new level.
Audra is like that, but she's not that bad, and she loves it. She goes out there and she does everything she got to do with the rodents, but she'll make sure she take an allergy pill, and she still kind of comes in all stuffed up. But normally after an hour, she's pretty much good.
Because like I would come in and be so like worn out from just having the asthma out there, because I didn't want to hit the inhaler and then go back out there while everything expanded out again, and then like you're like that's just insanity. I would be so tired because it would be so hard for me to breathe, and it would just like I would waste the rest of the day because I would be recovering from the hours of doing that. So
I will say it did help with the filters. He just commented. I shared it, I think a few episodes ago, which filters we use for the fans, and it helped a lot with all the dust and the air quality out there. Kind of catches everything, and they're reusable, and that helped tremendously. She's not as bad with the allergies now, so that's pretty cool.
That's good. Cool. Yeah, I just buy mine. I go pick them up.
So okay, look. So you didn't have the problem, because there was some breeders that I would buy it from, and I could tell if they weren't cleaning them or taking care of them, and I'd pick them up. As soon as I put them in the car, I would start having to roll down the windows because my asthma would act.
Oh, that's still there. Yeah, that's still there. Especially in the summertime when it's hot, and I'm going to pick them up, and they're either they've been sweating or they've been in the back of a van that's traveled 2 or 3 hours. Like it's still there, but I would rather deal with 30 minutes of having the window down than hours of like cleaning bedding, having all that trash. because at the end of the day, like once they're gone, they're gone. Like I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
deal with that like in the morning. So
Right.
it just like I do love the ball pythons, I'll be honest. And I do like I really do like it, especially genetics behind it. But it's just, you know, some things it's give and take. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know, to do something you love, you got to do something you hate too. So
Right.
I hate that, but I
do
do
too.
it.
I hate that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like
That's-
I just, you know, I know people think they're so cute and like yeah, great. I just can't breathe around them. So there's that.
Right.
Yeah, I'd rather,
Yeah, I understand. I get it.
I'm-
Because that's definitely Audrey. She thinks they're so cute. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I'd rather turn around and grab them and throw them in there. There you go. Eat
Yeah.
it.
Like, you know, just yeah, but that is what it is. So
Right. Now, in the past, with your productions and everything else that you produce, where do you mostly move them at? Your availability? Is it on at
oh, they were just
shows
for
or
me. Like you
they were
talking
just for
about
you?
rodents?
No. Your actual production from your ball pythons.
Honestly, it was all morph market. This past year was all morph market.
Love it.
I just, you know, again, it's not an excuse. It's just with school and work, it's hard for me to,
Mhm.
you know, plan out a show because shows Friday,
Right.
Saturday, and then you're coming back, you know, Sunday night, you know, re-up and everything on Monday. So you're out 4 days and then you got to come back
Yep.
to work on Tuesday when you've done all that physical labor and talk to everybody. And it just like, no,
Oh yeah, I
just,
get it. I get
yeah,
it. We
like
do Tennessee and Daytona, so it's even more days for us. We normally
yeah,
leaving out on Wednesday to then Tinley and Daytona. Now, thankfully, it's a 7-hour drive one way, but it's still we show up a day early to get set up, and then by the time you get back, like you said, you gotta feed, clean, catch up. Man, it's
yeah.
crazy, and
And
we're
then it's,
not
no,
having to go to work. Yeah, that's crazy. A lot of work. A lot of work. I don't think people know how much work is involved in really giving 100%, even at vending one show. You know, especially a bigger level show that's not local.
well, and especially for someone who's an introvert, because if you're an extrovert talking to people, like you're going to get charged up. It's like a battery. You know,
Mhm.
you're going to get
Right.
hype. But an introvert
Mhm.
talking to people, dude, you're giving out electric cells, and you only have
Right.
so many to give. And with me,
Right.
like I need to like be by myself for like
Mhm.
hours to like recharge for,
Right.
you know, just being that extrovert. And it's like, you know, and then there's that on top of, you know, selling or, you know, just anything to have to do with the show. Like I commend anyone who does them.
Right.
That's just not
Yeah, I
my
get
thing
it.
right now.
I get it.
That's a simple like I don't have a complicated answer on that. It's just
Right.
not my thing. So
Gotcha. Makes sense. Makes
Are you gonna go to
sense.
Bob's show?
in February,
Yeah.
so I would like to. It just depends. So I have a 12-and-a-half-year-old Akita,
Okay.
and she needs attention, and it's hard for me to get away
Mhm.
for extended periods of time. So
Right.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it. Definitely. So now, as far as on Instagram, how long you really been on Instagram this entire time, or is it something that you're kind of softening up
It's
and coming?
no. So
Cool.
Instagram history is back from 2013.
Okay.
If you
Yeah.
look back, yeah, those pictures are back. You know, 2013 is when I first started posting. You can
Okay.
see some of the Super Dwarf history.
Mhm.
When I was hatching out retics, I had the anacondas. You'll probably find African fats and leopard geckos there. A lot of the Zuwadi stuff, the original Zuwadi stuff. But yeah, and I try to keep up with that. But that's, you know, honestly, I miss a lot of like picture moments.
Right.
You know, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then like 2 days later, I'm like, yeah, I probably should have taken a picture of that. So,
right.
Yeah,
like
he
I
comes from the
got,
time of the flip phone.
yeah, like, or like when, you know, when we didn't take pictures because we didn't want stories. We didn't want
Right.
anybody to know what we were doing.
Yeah. No, that's
Aaron
you know,
told me about that. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. That's just, I
get out of
mean,
here.
nobody's gonna
Even
know
though
what you
people were
had.
like, "Hey, don't film that. Why are you filming?" Because it was weird. It was weird to
yeah, it
film
was
everything.
weird. Like what are you doing? Like, no.
Like, why you bring the camera out?
Right?
Yeah, but all those kids like Jackass has made it big because they filmed all their stupid shit.
Yeah.
It's the norm now. You know, I mean, we do a lot of recording now, as far as for our videos on both brands. But you know, we found ourselves coming home from a show actually, and we stopped. I believe it was either Applebee's or by the border or something like that. But we stopped in. Place was packed. We got ourselves a table. Audra and I sitting there. We're talking to each other, hanging out, having a good old time. And we noticed 24 to 28-year-old young lady sit 3 feet from us. Now she's in a booth. Literally pops out a phone tripod. Every other table is full of people. Sets her phone on it, and she's just having it. She's just like me and you guys right now, just full blown at the camera, doing her thing. And me and Audra looking at each other like, wow. I mean, literally, no nerves, no nothing. Just like if she was just sitting amongst friends.
See,
And she was a YouTuber. Yeah.
That's what I call evidence. And sometimes you don't want that. So,
right.
you know, that's
It's
all I gotta say.
And her comfort level had to be through the roof. Audrey said it was at Chili's. Yeah, her comfort level had to be through the roof because the place was packed. You know, you had other tables. They were literally staring, gawking at her, and you know, people were laughing, and she ain't missed a beat. She's like, I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm like, wow, that's a whole nother level of comfort. Yeah.
Do you, boo?
He like, do you?
Do you, boo boo?
That's
do you?
I can't even do it at home by myself. Like,
no,
let alone everybody else around. And she didn't care. She's like,
YouTube, we force it a lot of times. We'll be in Home Depot trying to get it on our phone, and I'm just like, whatever. This is just what we do now. I'm just like, for me, I don't get embarrassed, but just like, you know what? What are you doing? And she'll do stuff at home. I'm like, whatever. You know, I don't care about.
We do that in secret, not in public.
Right? Like, yeah, that's evidence, man. That's evidence.
Exactly. You know,
no, but like I don't know. I mean, I got some imports that are pretty cool, and I haven't even. I'm just like, yeah, this is really neat. Yeah, nobody knows.
Right. See, but you're in that OG phase too, so you're from that era that you know naturally everyone kind of kept things under wraps, you know. And
back then, then, like it was, you know, like people didn't want to share how they share now. Like the information wasn't like if you mess up eggs, like there's so many videos out now on how to incubate eggs. You want to know what it was for me? It was vermiculite 1-to-1. 1-to-1 what? Like, what are you talking about? Vermiculite 1-to-1. That's the instructions I was given.
Wow.
Not make sure that the tote's sealed up or you know your fan's not running too high because you don't want too much air in the eggs. Yeah, like dude, I did a head-to-head pairing for pieds back in 2010, and these were when pieds were going for I don't know, probably 5K. 13 eggs, all of them dead within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, dried them all out because nobody told me, like, you know, with a new incubator, you don't think about, okay, you know, let me test it out for 2 weeks. Let me do a dummy tub. Let me do this. Let me do that. Like, no, it was just, okay, put them in. Boom. That was like clutch number 2.
No press and seal. Well, back then there wasn't. Was there press and seal back then?
I don't think so. I don't
No,
think
it
there
was more
was.
of just put saran wrap over the top.
Yeah,
of it.
saran wrap, or if you could find the tubs that had the rubber around the rim
the
for the
inside,
top.
yeah.
Yeah. But nobody told you that. Nobody told you that.
They just want to see you
crazy.
fail. Oh, you had a clutch. You missed that clutch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
man,
oh
yeah.
man. Oh, okay.
When
Like it was
the
just
inside, they're
it
like,
was
yeah.
just different. Yeah, it was just different.
Yeah.
Like it I don't
They
know,
fed
it
off
trips
your
me out.
failures. Oh, go ahead. Try again next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Oh,
Try it again next year.
yeah, here, well, I hatched one out, so here, buy this. That way you have one.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Good grief. That's crazy.
What were you
That's
using
crazy.
as
So
an
what?
incubator at that time?
So I used I don't even know if there's is Big Apple Herp still around anymore?
Oh, the East
I've
Coast. That's
seen
where I
that.
got my
Yeah.
first rodent containers. I think they are still
Are
around.
they?
I think
So
Yeah.
they sold an incubator like way back in the day.
Mhm.
And I used that for 2 seasons, because the first season I thought it was my fault. And then the second season, it finally dawned on me like this thing sucks.
Right.
Like the fan was too high for as small as the incubator was. Again, nobody told me to seal the tubs off to make sure moisture's staying in the tub. So that's the incubator I used for the first 2 seasons. And then I built one from a freezer. And just, from what I learned from the first 2 seasons, I just tested it out and, tweaked it how it needed to be tweaked.
So you had to basically wing it for the first 2 seasons and just trial and error and
Yeah, that was
correct.
normal. That was
Man.
what trips me out is I love how like you're shocked with this. Like
Yeah.
just like it. There were no care sheets. There were no,
Yeah.
oh, you fucked up. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Right.
It's gonna be okay.
There
was none of this.
Wasn't.
There was none of this. Oh man, you hashed out a pastel inchy clown. Oh, good job. You're gonna rock. No, it was
Right.
yeah. That's crappy. Nobody cares.
Damn.
At that
So-
time,
Darren, I mean, come on, man. You know how like
I've told Will this stuff that nobody cared what you had going on. It was,
nobody cared.
You were
Nobody cared.
trial and error was on your own.
Yeah.
So
there was no
I guess my question,
up.
my question with it facing so much now, you're enthused, you're excited, enthused about everything, getting into it, and you're facing so much negativity, so many bad things happening to you. What keeps you excited? What fueled you to kind of continue to keep going? And the reason I ask that is because
Money.
we hear about market and everything now, and people kind of fold at the snap of a finger.
Money.
I
mean, if you want to know the main motivation for me keep going, when you're seeing tens of thousands of dollars being spent,
right?
And you're like, why am I not part of that? Yeah, like I pushed and I pushed hard, and I learned a lot. But yeah, money, simple.
Mm-hmm.
How much you pay for your heads at that time?
Which ones?
The head pies.
I think I want to say that pair was like $5,000.
Wow. Normal head pie.
Normal head pies. Because I remember paying for a pastel het clown breeder. I remember paying $7,500 back in 2009 because I tried to source one in Daytona in 2008. And nobody, well, they had them, but nobody would sell to just a random kid asking, oh, do you have any pastel het clown females? Like, walking up to Ralph Davis or Brian Barczyk or, Tracy, do you have any pastel het clowns? Knowing that they do, well, now, but back then, I'm just some like dumb 25-year-old kid. Like, do you have this? No, we don't have that. No, we don't have that.
Wow. So crazy.
It's how much times have changed. It's we're putting information out there, letting everybody know, and that also makes the competition even a little bit harder. So that makes you push your projects a lot further too, and be more innovative.
And I also think it's a catch-22 because there's a lot of information out there, and not all of that information is the right information.
Yep.
And the right information may not be the right information for someone on the West Coast if someone on the East Coast is giving it. Like there needs to be like some more definition of the information. Like, because I can't say, oh, well, you know, spraying the tubs twice a week works for me. Well, somebody out in the desert, you know, who does this and says, oh, well, Visionary said he sprays the tub twice a week and it works. Well, it's not working for me. Like that's, yes, it's good information, but it's not good information for that particular zip code, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does. It makes a lot of sense.
They said we was born in the 80s.
We're dry as hell. We're dry as hell. It's so dry here.
Yeah, I mean, like bedding, for instance, like my bedding and your bedding are probably two totally different beddings. And I bet your rack setup's probably different than mine. Just because.
Now, what region are you in? What area are you in?
Dallas. North Dallas.
North Dallas. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, you know, it's nothing's good or bad. It's just different.
Right.
And those new people coming in, they're just going to listen to that person, not knowing what state they're in. And
that's been a problem.
Yeah,
I've seen that even with me and you talking as well. You know, sometimes people, you know, and it's my opinion, I try to take everything in, you know, listening to your story, trying to mentally remember certain things that maybe I'm not aware of. And you don't just take it and run, you take it, take notes, you compare it to other things you may have heard dealing with the same issues, and you pick a path that you decide you want to go down. A lot of people, they become, you know, even with us, you know, you follow Flawless for, you know, some great reason, hit that sub button, but don't think just, you know, to do exactly what we're doing and run across the board and create enemies and, you know, foes because you're like, this is the way Flawless do it. People like, who Flawless? You know, take everything with a grain of salt and kind of make it your own and figure it out. That's my thought.
Well, and I'll be honest, man, I'm almost so paranoid now. It depends on where the animal comes from, if I'll buy it or not.
Oh, heck yeah.
Because like if it's a certain barometric, like certain height difference, you know, elevation difference, dude, that's going to be a shitty feeder.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And now, what I've noticed that with breeders, I've noticed that with breeder females. Some breeder females say if I get it from Florida, I can get it here and it's fine. It will breed that season for me and I'm good. But then I get a female from, you know, say Aussie, and I'm going 2 years, 3 years for that female to, and she's a breeder female to relax legs just because it's so different.
Yeah, because it's different elevation, different, you know, dryness in the air. Like it's completely different. Yeah. Because if I get something from California, oh yeah, we're good. We're golden. Like we're fine. But yeah, you know, Maryland, Montana, like any of that where it's like highly elevated, the air's, you know, different, like it's going to be a problem.
Right. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Even with them kind of coming here and then eating and slowing down on eating. And it's like, okay, you're a problem feeder, but you weren't a problem feeder because you came in at 2,600 grams. But now you're like, I'll eat right now, not this week, next week, you know, and going back and forth. But anything comes from Florida or anywhere down there, throw it in there.
Well, you know, there's a few breeders out by me. They've been breeding like their entire life, and they've created like this network amongst friends where, you know, they have people all over, and literally they're telling me stories on, I had this one, I'm packaging up 4 or 5 snakes and sending them out here. I'm like, oh, you made a sale? I'm like, no, I'm just sending them out to a buddy so he can get them eaten. I'm like, what do you mean? And then they said the same thing. Yeah. Sometimes you have to change location to get them going. And sometimes they'll send a certain amount of, you know, snakes out for a season or two, and just to kind of get them going and then see what happened. They do deals, work clutches, get them back, but they're not necessarily selling them. They're just relocating them to get them going. It's interesting. definitely important to build up the networks and that.
Have
Because
you ever done
man,
that where you take a snake for a car ride?
Have I?
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Has it worked for you?
that's an OG.
Man, that's hit or miss.
It's hit or
Like,
miss.
yeah, and I've done like where I've done around the block, and then I've taken it for like the day where we're running
Mhm.
errands and it's just sitting there.
Mhm.
It's like it's just hit or miss. Like I can't say, yeah, that's the perfect, perfect storm to make it eat, make it not eat.
But it's one of the things that it can't hurt, so why not try?
Yeah, it's and the whole rack switching like up or
Mhm.
down levels, like to me, like that's great advice. It's 50% of the time.
Right.
Yep.
I can't say like, oh, this one specific thing works. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
I've tried that really moving up and down on a female that just wouldn't lay for me.
Yeah. Did it work?
Wouldn't lay for me. I moved her 4 different spots in the racks. So I moved her because I have my three freedom breeders. So if I move her to the back and down low, no, right? And I came to the front, see if it was cool, went up top, and then I turned around and moved her to the back and put her at the very top, and then she went for me. But
Yeah.
I'm like, how many years is
Wow.
that? Just trying to
See,
get her to go.
And I'm almost to the point now, man. Like, it's going to be better just to sell them off. Like, if you don't go for me in 2 to 3 years, like if
Yeah.
your breeding age and you don't go 2 years, like what am I doing? Like you're a 2019 and I haven't seen eggs. Like what are we doing? What are we doing?
And then
Right.
you sell that animal and that person has the eggs, and you're like,
This is what it is.
But I mean, that's okay because like I'm replacing that with, like a hypo double het sunset clown. Like
Mhm.
that, okay. So I'm replacing a clown with that.
and that's
You
what
can
Will talks about.
I
Will
mean,
tells me all the time, you need to turn
All the
around.
time. Yep.
It's,
All the
let
time.
it go. Let it
yeah.
go.
I mean,
Let it go. Because by the time you get it ready to breed, the value of everything's changed. And then you could get something with other genes in it
Yep.
that is probably
That
close
you're
to value.
shooting for anyway. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Like I'll be honest, I'd rather sit with an empty tub and not have to feed that than having to fight and worry about it and this, that, these, and those. Like, whatever. I'll just save up and, buy buy something better
Yeah.
from a baby.
Even
Or hatch
1,000%
it.
agreement. Yep.
Yep.
Like,
I'm in
because to me,
1,000%.
space is limited. Like, I don't want any more than 100. Period.
Right.
And we're already like 75% there. So something's got to go.
that is a good problem.
And this clutch of normals that just hatched from sunset het hypo to a double het, that hypo, if it's a female, that's the only thing that's going to be staying. Everything else can go. And if that's a male, it's out.
Oh man, we got
Like
one
that was a
sunset.
gut punch. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, that sucks, man. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Said,
That
I
hurts.
thought we were going out with a bang. We just said boom, boom, boom.
Oh yeah, we're going out with a bang, all right. Just not that type of bang. Like,
So from 09 to now, how many times have you kind of like stepped away and taken a break?
2019 into 2020 was the first and only one that I've done.
Okay.
That period was the only time that I, completely, you could say, washed your hands of it.
Mhm.
And then, slowly got the bug back. It's the genetics that fascinate me.
Right.
Because like my mom was teaching me Punnett squares, when I was in 3rd grade because,
Oh wow.
She worked, she was a nurse that for St. Jude that worked sickle cell and hemophilia. So like I was learning about trait and all of that, 3rd, 4th grade. And then knowing the snake genetics, how that works, I was like, It's like, Charles, I've learned half of this that's in the books now. So it just like that just kind of drew me in.
What's crazy is that it retained with you because we learned punting squares, and I was like, phew.
I think it's the data. I really think it's like the data part that is the reason why it like stuck, because I'm like, oh yeah, percentages, you know, you can do this, you can do that. You know, and it just, I don't know, it just kind of grew.
Right.
And it's just the satisfaction when you know, fed a snake, clean the tub, you know, years on a project, and it finally, you know, comes to fruition. You're like, oh yes, you know, you get that, you know, you get a little taste, and you're like, okay, yeah, we can keep going. We got this. Or like when genetics from the wild prove out, and it's like, holy shit. So
yeah, I can see that. And so when you walked in 2019, did you sell off what you had and then literally started buying back in when you came?
I walked away. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. Gotcha.
What was it that the exact gene that brought you back to it, where you're like, okay, I want to do this again?
Honestly, it wasn't any specific gene. I'll be 1,000% honest. It was, I really just missed the genetics of it, just doing it. And you know, the first snake that I bought coming back in was Cryptic G-Stripe Desert Ghost.
Oh wow.
Your favorite
Cryptic. Yeah, and well, the thing with the Cryptic is, like, that's really fascinating because it actually expands the genetic stripe. Whereas if you look at a normal genetic stripe, how it's kind of thin, but a true Cryptic will expand the stripe so it's wider. And when I saw that, I was like, that's really neat. I kind of want to, you know, play with that and see, you know, what it's all about. And, you know, I bought a Hypo Desert Ghost and then a Desert Ghost, and, you know, just one thing leads to another.
Oh yeah.
When I seen that genetic stripe Cryptic, it was like, wow, it really did that, because it did one thing with you know, with clown, but then it does something totally different with with Cryptic.
Yep.
You know,
and it's kind of interesting. I'll be curious to see like what it does with Sunset, like how, if it's going to be like a just a reddish brown snake with a stripe down its back, or if it's truly going to, like, have you seen a super red stripe genetic stripe, how it has the bubbles on the side going down the side? Well, alien heads, bubbles, whatever they call them.
Yeah, where it's like,
yeah, like I'm curious, like if it'll do something like that, if it'll bring pattern on the side, or if it'll just be a true, like, you know, brown reddish snake with a, you know, stripe down its back. Just stuff I think about.
Nobody's made the genetic stripe Cryptic, has they? Or like super? Because Justin made the super puzzle, the super puzzle, super red stripe, super red stripe puzzle, and it looked crazy. So if you did that with genetic stripe and Cryptic,
yeah, I'm curious how.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just, and that's, you know, that's something nobody thinks about. I don't have any of that, you know.
Well, you just put a gem out there, so when you see somebody else make it, just know it came here first.
And that's not on Patreon, people. This is live YouTube right now. But yeah, I mean, it's just. Go ahead.
To really actually see how many people got into this, right, from when you started, and to watch how many people from being just a no name, and all of a sudden they produce animals that are just breathtaking, that are like, wow. And this guy just got into it. What do you think about that?
Meaning what?
Just them producing something that, you know, you never really actually thought of.
They had the vision. They put it in. They put in the work. They, you know, ran it through. And, you know, some people get lucky. Some people don't. I really don't like. I don't have any negative or positive thoughts against people who do that, because I think just as fast as you can make a name, you can destroy a name too.
True.
There's pros and cons to this. Someone can make killer animal, that the whole industry buzzes on, just didn't even think about it. Comes out of, left field. And then next year, where's this person at? Nowhere.
Right.
They sold out, or, something happened, choose your poison. But just as fast as you can make it, you can sink it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think I found that super red stripe G stripe. See it. I can show it.
I mean, how many people in the chat know who Ralph Davis is besides, Chris and Limey?
Because they know.
I used to go to his website religiously and look.
Oh yeah, I used to run those, just run to those forums and just see.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, you know what?
That's all right.
You know what that looks like?
What does it look like?
They're calling it Red Devil.
I don't think that's it.
You don't think that's it?
No, that may be it according to Morph Market. But stuff I saw was like coming out from Outback, and it may have granite genes in it.
Huh.
That looked like the Extremist to me.
Uh-oh. I don't know if you want that attached to your project.
Well, look how many genes are in there, and Extremist is one. Like, to create that and make that many genes, that's too much time.
What's the?
What were you gonna say, William?
Well, I was gonna what's
Extreme?
Is that what is that?
It's Ken Masic's
gene.
Ken Masic's gene. I can show it off real quick. Darren actually has a male. You got a male breeding, right?
Yep, I got a male breeding right now.
Was it in the tri-stripe family or something?
It looks like that. Yeah, that's what they.
I think it came out of it. Yeah, it came out of that project, but apparently, they proved it to be independent. Right.
Incomplete dominant.
Okay.
Which, if you could get a genetic stripe without kind of using a genetic stripe, and you get it in one season, I don't know. But I think it's only the super that looks the way it does. Like, the single gene doesn't look as crazy.
No.
Right.
Does it still have that striping down it though?
Yeah. It looked just like how he just posted that animal up. That's how it looks, the super.
There go the super. Well, with GHI.
Okay. With GHI. So it just kind of like.
Yeah, that's messing that dorsal pattern up and bringing in that granite on the side. Okay.
With the GHI, yeah.
Yeah.
There's another super.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So you can see why they compare it or say it's adding to the tri-stripe.
See, I'd be curious, like, what puzzle would do with that.
Right. So that's single gene. Extreme.
See, it doesn't look as crazy.
But it's still kind of following up behind that stripe. It's an interesting gene. I like it. I definitely like it. We'll see what you're gonna do with it.
For some reason, I think if once you get it in the clown and then you make a super version, you're just gonna end up like Inchy.
You think so?
Take over the pattern. Yeah, it's gonna take over the pattern. I think he made one, but he didn't want to say what was in it. You could probably pull up his last stuff. Some of the stuff Ken Masic's done. It's a clown, and it didn't say too much in it.
Let's see. Let me go to.
Yeah, I'd be curious what the subtle genes do to that.
Let's see real quick.
But that's cool. That's a cool project.
Yeah, it's definitely intriguing. I'm gonna see what you're gonna end up pairing it with and see what's the new combos to come out this season, because it's definitely gonna be some. Because Brittany Gobble's working with it, Justin's working with it, so it's definitely gonna have some legs.
Yes.
See what happens. Definitely gonna have some legs on it.
The price change, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Needs lace. Man, I love lace.
Man, that's another interesting one. That's
Yeah.
like that's on the heels of Desert Ghost for real. Like
Yes.
that white lace stuff. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
The white lace clown. And when I went to Justin, I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna keep saying it every day. When you see that next to a DG clown as an adult breeder, the white lace just kind of blows your mind over the DG clown.
Right.
It is, man, very, very nice snake.
And see, like I have a white lace hypo and a lace hypo, and man, those like as they age, I'm like, oh my god, like they are really pretty. And it's just there's nothing else in there besides hypo, white lace, and then lace and hypo. Like just those two females, I'm just like, wow, that like.
And then the hypo, oh man, I need to see that. You need to take some pictures and post that up.
Yeah, I need to see that because we have white lace girl breeding, but I want to see it definitely with hypo. I don't think I've seen it with hypo.
Yeah, that's a man. I got lucky on that. I just asked and they had it. And
well, you got to think lace. The first time I seen it with Ozzy. It was up there in price. I liked it, but I was like, yeah, I don't have that type of money at that time when I seen it. But he had it. He was running with that project, and then he let it go. And then after when they seen it in the clown and everything else, that's when it was like, okay, they had another breathtaking where it was like, okay, everybody started paying attention to it again.
And I feel like it's died out some. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it was hype, and now it's like dying out a little.
I think people are probably in the lab trying to do stuff with it.
Okay, so people are playing with it. Okay.
Yeah, I think people are definitely working it hard. Definitely. I think that other gene he was running with kind of softly, the weirdo, I think that's kind of died out because he never, I don't think he kind of did any videos kind of really, really distinguishing what it is. And I think that's the reason why it's
was that ever isolated down?
I don't think so.
See, that's the thing, like, because I always saw it like in puzzle or like in a visual puzzle. Like, okay, it looked a little different, but it wasn't like I need to see like the raw guts of the engine to know, like, okay, like, yeah, man, bring it back to white lace. Like, that's not what I expected at all because that was a trash gene. You couldn't give lace away for a long time, just like Red Stripe. Like that was a trash gene back in the day, you know, when MySpace was big. But it just like it's crazy how just, you know, that super just blew me away. And I was just like, wow, that's nuts.
Wow.
So yeah, it just
everything I've seen with had it attached to puzzle and pastel. So I'm still waiting for some people to want to detach their way.
Well, I mean, we'll see. There's still so much to be done. You know, I signed like just when I talk about like going back to information, I'm not going to say which Patreons, but I signed up for some Patreons just because 2025 needs to be the year. Like after this clutch, I'm like, holy crap. But there's so much information just out there. Like just to fish through.
Right.
And it's, you know, it'll be interesting.
Definitely.
When you got into it, it was more also that person. There was a specific person that had a certain gene that was the person you got that gene from too, huh?
Yeah, so like if you wanted Phantom, you go to Ralph. If you wanted you know, back then when Puzzle first came out, if you wanted Puzzle, you go to Sean. You know, like if you wanted a Pied, his name's skipping me at the moment, but like you go to a certain person for a certain thing. It wasn't,
Pete
you know, Pete Call. You go to him for a Pied. Like it wasn't, you know, go to Justin's and comb through some drawers. I mean, you probably could have, but it wasn't like a Toys R Us where you just walk in and you just start picking stuff from, everybody. Like, it wasn't a wholesale type deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting now, like, even, smaller breeders like myself, like, there's so much variety now. It's not just like honed into, okay, I'm just doing clown and that's it.
Right.
Like, I'm just doing pied and that's it, or
Mm-hmm.
hypo, or, that's it. Like, it's just, there's a lot. And I don't know. We'll see.
You
Got
stacking jeans. Stacking jeans.
Now,
So, go ahead.
I was gonna say now, as far as talking on infrastructure, we kind of skipped over it a little bit. As far as your racks and what you use, what's your preferred rack system?
Man, so my babies are sitting in PVC. My
Okay.
adults and my babies and males are sitting in PVCs, and my females are sitting in ARS.
Okay.
I have had Freedom Breeder before. I do
Mhm.
like them. The only reason I don't have them now is because it costs like $1,500 to get a rack to me, so I'm
Mhm.
not doing that.
Right.
But I mean, favorite rack system, teach his own. I've thought about switching it all over to PVC due to humidity issues, even with the
Right.
humidifier in there.
Oh, wow.
I just think it's, teach his own.
Gotcha. What were you gonna say before it?
Gene stacking. So, Darren, remember back in the day when we were all stacking genes and to get like 7 or 8 codoms and it just ended up being like crap? So I'm curious to know if the current gene stacking that is being done now with recessives is going to end up that way. Like, if we stack in so many recessives, is it just going to end up being like this dusty white snake?
I think if you have some stuff with pied in it, you're kind of gonna lose a little bit of that pattern. Even the clown pie, you kind of lose all that stuff. And when they made the stranger clown pie, it just looked like a sunset clown pie. It was that like orangish color, but
Yeah.
you didn't have any pattern on it. So I think we kind of got to the point where we kind of know what genes to add and what not to add to kind of create stuff, but we're still working with some other stuff. But since everybody is out there in the open and showing, hey, this is what I made and this is what's in it, that's going to deter people from, oh, okay, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
We're putting it out there. The information's out there now. So
not all the
before it
information's
was
out
like,
there, though.
Definitely not all. You still have a lot of
Some
OG
people-
breeders.
There's still some gatekeeping out there. Come on, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
It looks nice. Yes, they're not going to tell you, but when the combo kind of looks okay, they're going to tell you what's in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just something that's been on my mind. I wanted to talk to other people about. Like, I just think there's going to be a limit. Like,
Of how many genes you put in there? Yes.
Yeah,
I think there will be.
Yeah, of how many genes, and just I think it's going to be a real awakening for people to realize how many holdbacks you have to have just for triples.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about that for the longest.
And I'm not even talking quads. I'm just talking triples. Like, everybody's, gene stack. Oh, I'm going to breed this quad into this penta. I'm like, yeah, you do that. Let me know how that works out for you. Like,
Because
I was breeding doubles with a visual on one side and got shit on. So there's that.
I've been there, dude. I've been there.
Yep.
Yeah. So
like,
I mean,
people don't know the odds. Like,
you can't shed test the odds, man. Like, you can't test that out, and you can't shed test out. Oh, the odds plus male or female.
Right. Yep. All the variables. Women.
Man, you may get that hypo clown pied with the 5 codoms in it. Man, this is gonna be a great male. Nope, it's a female. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
You're not gonna be like, it's a female. I'll keep her.
I'll keep her for 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
I've had that happen. I've had that odds where, okay, I need this clutch, but I need females out of this clutch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Total opposite.
I killed it on the odds. But the sex odds were not there for me. I had one female that I needed. I was like, man, I got 5 visuals. 5 visuals. I was like, I'm good. Double visuals at that. One female. So it's the luck of the game, you know. But
Yeah.
I hit it on the odds, and I only hit one normal out of that. But I had males.
Mhm.
I had males galore. And then for the side that I didn't hit double visuals, I hit the visual, and then I had 3 females, 1 male.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's going to be a real awakening in the next few years when the odds start to, you know, because the shed testing's brand new. We're in the baby stages of that, and it'll be interesting to see.
It's gonna take time because people are gonna know what they need to hold back because they could get it tested. But then once you get it tested, now you're like, okay, I know this is really actually this. Now, what are my odds going to be? Am I going to hit?
Yeah.
Right. Plus, if you remotely kind of gauge it in the right area, you do all of that. You got your sheds, and you know you got kind of your holdback. You have all your infrastructure together. It's like you said, you got to hope they go for you. You know, and and again, you have to have everything in line. We actually was just talking about it when we did our Ultramel Hypo Pod project that we've been working on hard. I mean, it really was only successful because of our male from Ozzy. You know, we have a super orange stream, super inchy, leopard, hypopod, het Ultramel male, and he's a stud. But we also, the one over here. But you know, the females we had to go out and get and spend a ton of money on and get up the size. And I mean, luckily enough, he was a stud. But we have inchy Ultramel pods breeding to him, pod, het Ultramels, Ultramel, het pods, codoms, hypopod, codoms in the mix. And out of 8 clutches, I mean, we were lucky enough to end up we had 1.6 holdbacks on Orange Stream Inchy Leopard Ultramel Pod Het Hypos. And I'm like, that was like a godsend. But we also produced other stuff from those clutches. That didn't all come from one clutch. That's across a bunch of clutches.
You say 8 clutches, so how many eggs?
Mm-hmm. Off the top of my head, you're talking about roughly 38 eggs.
Okay. And you had 8 that you kept?
Those 7, 1.6. Mm-hmm. That are guaranteed staying. Yeah.
Yes. Out of 8 clutches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking at clutches. I'm looking at eggs.
Eggs,
yeah. Well, that too. Yeah.
37, 38 eggs.
Yep. And you kept 38 eggs. You kept 7 of them. So 31 of those eggs is being sold.
Yeah. I mean,
you're not already gone. Yep.
And that's just for one project. That's just for one project that y'all got going on.
Yeah.
So it'll be. I'll be interested to see. Like, I've even thought about even thinning the herd even more. Like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to do that? One project I am interested in seeing that, Darren, I want to say you're working this too, the Hypo VPI Xanic Clown.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in that too.
And when you're talking about that, I think about that in my head every time when you talk about triples. I'm like,
I want to see that because I think so. That's the closest to like a bluish gray snake that's ever been produced. So I think that's going to rival the Desert Ghost version of that. Yeah. I think it's in fact, it may blow it out of the water because it's not just a black and white snake anymore. Like, you're bringing in a completely different gray color palette. And if you stack the right genes on that, you actually may bring in like a bluish gray even more than a true ghost is now. You imagine that? A bluish gray snake?
Do what? Pied version? Did you see the pied version?
When it was a baby before it shed,
Shit.
yeah.
Man,
And that was
after Justin had
that's
for
a
almost a
beautiful
year,
snake.
that guy had so much
Right.
size, and it still looked good. It still
Like,
looked good as a
yeah.
sub-adult.
And it just that's one project that I'm curious to see. You know, True Ghost Sunset. I'm doing that.
Yep. That's another thing. That's whew, man.
It's because if you look what VPI Xanax done to the Ultramel, like how that's such a beautiful animal. Look at Sunset, what it did to the Ultramel. I'm like, okay, so let's play with this. Let's see what happens.
So, have you seen the Ultramel VPI?
Yeah.
Will, have you seen it?
Oh,
it,
I don't.
Flawless, dude. That's a
makes
gorgeous snake.
it makes takes out the yellows, so you get more of that around the alien heads is more defined. You can see it a lot more.
Yeah.
It's like with with lavender, it kind of makes the lavenders pop more in the animal.
Right. Yeah, I see it now. Oh wow.
Yeah, that's a really pretty animal.
Ultra snow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is cool.
So I'm curious, you know, switch that around, you know, Ultramel for Sunset. You know, what's going to happen? So
what happens? Yeah.
And to touch more on that topic, like you were saying, I mean, imagine you hit whatever that quad recessive project and you're doing quad head to quad head or visual, whatever you're doing. Once you hit it, you know, imagine how long that journey is now. Oh, I want spot nose in there. You know how long what the odds are now? You're trying to get one incomplete dominant into that quad. Oh my God.
And especially if it's something that's like not being that worked, you know, worked that much. Like, okay, yeah, you can call Justin and be like, hey, do you have spot nose, red stripe? Pick your poison. It's either going to be yes or no. Like, if it's got clown in it, probably yes. But he may not have clown, het this, het that, you know, add another head onto that. It may just be clown double het or DG clown, you know, het this, het that. Like, it may not get you to where you want to go with that visual quad that you have. So it's like, and then 3 or 4 years to grow the female up, or, you know, however you play it, you know, it's just, it's
you're going to get to that point in that project. That's that one, that hypo ultramel pod project. You're going to get to a point in that project where, or any project that you're pushing hard like that, where you're not necessarily the front runner, but there's nothing to buy. There's nothing available that you can buy to move you forward. Therefore, now your plan is to produce what's going to move you forward, which is a whole nother process.
And that's a lonely road, because if nobody's running that project, then you're selling, you know, triples and quads for pennies on the dollar, because nobody's running hypo, desert ghost, clown, sunset, you know, some other, like nobody's running it. So what are you going to do?
I don't have a female for that, or I don't have a male for that. Even if you let the female go, you let the male go, they're like, I don't have anything to match that. So why would I buy that? You know, to add to it when you're doing.
And even if you, even if you do hit, you know, the quad, whatever, the penta, whatever, there's only a certain amount of buyers who are going to buy it. If it's okay, and those buyers who are going to buy it are, if they buy it, they're going to be so far ahead of where you're at, just $100,000. You're like, yes, this is great. Okay, but you just lost everything, all that time that you put in. So you might as well keep it and breed it to, you know, your red stripe double het that you have, and just make, you know, double visual, you know,
and hope you hit on odds.
And hope that you hit it. Like, it doesn't, it's just, it's interesting. Like, the odds of this are getting astronomical.
Right.
They really are. And it's fascinating to see where it's going to go.
Which that's the part that, like, the only thing we're getting the answers from shed testing, right? But the only thing that's going to slow us down is you not hitting odds. That's
Right.
the only thing that's going to slow it down. If you don't hit the odds.
My theory though on it though is, things for, the everyday, hobbyist enthusiast was already moving fast for bigger breeders that were working projects, been working it for years. Now implementing shed testing, my perception of it is, mind you, I love it, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, you thought things were moving fast then, they're really about to move fast now, and it's like, when you start producing these, my thought process, on a business versus, hobby, do what's smart for you. But I don't personally think it's a good plan to say, hey, I want to make money from the business. That is a good plan, but you're going to do pairings in a manner that's going to hopefully produce you this outstanding snake. And the snake that you're chasing is something that you're planning to make and planning to sell. I don't think that's going to produce any longevity. I'm in the same boat with you, William. You need to be working on that project to hopefully pick and choose what genes you want to implement. What is it going to look like? Hit certain goals on certain combos. And for us, we're kind of selling the byproduct, which also happens to be highly sought after, and that's cool. That's a perk. But you got to be playing the long game if you want to be sustainable. That's just my opinion.
No, and I agree. So you got to play the short game too, because you got to feed the long game.
Right.
So however you do that, whether it's, sustaining full-time job, selling off byproduct, you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
But it'll be interesting because I don't know why I'm thinking about it so much. Maybe it's because this clutch went so awesome for me. I'm just like, I can't beat that. Like, I cannot beat
right.
that. And at the time when I bought into that project, that was the best that there was. That was the best that you could buy. And
what was crazy is because you're buying 100% hets, so you already know. Those people that end up buying those 66% hets, and then they bought another 66% het, and then somehow they hit it without even testing. This is where it was before. It was like, oh, I'm gonna buy this cheap, and hopefully I hit. And sometimes they hit. You're like, gosh, you got lucky. You got so lucky.
My whole thing is, and then what?
Mm-hmm.
You hit it.
They do after,
and then what?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. You got a hypopod clown, DG. Now what? What are you gonna do?
Yeah. You have to have something to match with it.
Yeah, like you have to have a plan for tomorrow for the odds of today.
Yeah.
Like you can't just be like, oh God, I hit the quad. This is gonna be great. Okay, what? What are you gonna do?
I was so focused on hitting my two genes. We won't even talk about it. With two genes, they were. I was like, hey, I'm gonna hit it. I never even thought about the next step after that, right? And then when I hit it, I was like, okay, now I need to buy this. Now I need to grow it up for 2 years because I hit it.
And see, 2-3 years before that, 2-3 years before that, you should have been thinking about that.
I was too busy trying to hit it.
But I understand.
William,
I've been
here talking blue in the face. He finally has picked on. He finally caught on.
But that's that old school mentality. Like that's the way we were taught. Okay, you breed these two, you're gonna hit this. You have the possibility of hitting that. Okay, but nobody's nobody's telling you to think about tomorrow. Like they're just telling you to think about today. Exactly. And I don't know. I just think it'll be interesting.
It was either make my own double het from whatever I produce from it, or turn around and buy a female that's already double het and already go forward on that project. But
year after year. Yeah, nah.
Hey, you learn, man. You learn.
Hey, I'm learning. I'm learning through you too. I'm learning.
You evolved because it was like, hit it. What
But I
I do
mean,
next?
it's the name of the game. I
Right.
don't know.
Live-
We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Man, it, but you're right. Those recessives, everybody is going that route, myself included. And I don't know. I'm now you kind of opening a new tab in my brain to make me kind of think about, kind
Dude,
of
I'm stopping at 3.
You're stopping at
Three
3.
what?
He's like,
I'm
Three
stopping at 3.
done.
Well, because it's so
Okay.
much. Like to do
Oh yeah, to
the
do
quads, like
Mhm.
great. You got some quads. Well, to get the quads, you're gonna need the triples. And I'm gonna do some triples to,
Well,
they're never going out.
think about it. People are
Right.
just now really actually their base is the double, right? So now you're at the double. So okay, now with the double, okay, let's add that triple in and kind of just work your way up and get there.
But even doing the triples, you're going to have a more increased amount of production of doubles anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Because
and then that's if you do quads, it's the same thing.
yeah,
It goes
because with the Hypo Clown Pod project, like hitting that triple to get it, like I have many clown pods that are at hypo now, so that's the doubles
Yeah.
that are with one copy of the hypo, and they're just chilling, growing. So you breed, I don't know, anything to it, and so
you like the Hypo Clown Pie project too?
So once I hit it, I sold it.
Did
Oh
you?
wow!
Because I've already done it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
I got the hypo clown pods, got some clown pod head hypos out of it. We're done. I'm not working on it anymore. Like I'll expand on it, but I'm not working on it anymore.
Right.
I just don't.
So for me, my thought process is kind of like, okay, so I'm going for the True Ghost clown, right? The True Ghost clown. Well, if I already got the Hypo Clown Pie, then okay, here I'm gonna start adding those into each other and kind of just stack that way.
So I will do that. Yes, I once I have them, and I will add, like if I hit another triple, like a sunset. Well, I won't do desert go. I won't do sunset into pied. Pick your poison. Like we'll go True Ghost Clown. So like you stated, if you hit that, and you have a Hypo Clown pied, why not breed it into that? Like that's I'll be honest, I really like the Hypo Desert Ghost Clown project. When I saw the final product in person, I was like, holy shit. Like, and this is just a hypo DG clown, just nothing else in it.
Wow.
And like, to me, I like that project too.
Are you in Justin's Patreon?
I thought we weren't going to talk about Patreons, man. I said no names. I said join some Patreons, but I wouldn't say the names of them.
Yes, because every time I see you, I'm like, man, I've seen him somewhere. You've been to Justin's, huh? When I've been there, huh?
I have not. I've never been to Justin's.
No. For some reason, I'm like, man, I've seen him somewhere, and I can't trying to picture in my head where I've seen him. Besides
evidence, man. I thought we talked about that earlier. Evidence.
Is it evidence?
Don't record anything. You didn't see me there, man.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I've never been to Justin's. Never. Not that I don't want to. It's just I've never been there. But yeah, like the and that's a baby. Now seeing that with seeing that 500 grams on it, like I was blown away, and I'm just like, okay, I don't have anything to get me to that project, so let me get in it. How do I get in that? I'm curious, add paint to that, because the clown paint by itself, like paint did so much to the clown by itself, just those two genes added, and add hypo and DG on top of that, and it's just that's
Yeah,
nuts.
it's endless. It's endless right now. Like, just
Because
even
I'm
think about it.
curious, like, have y'all seen the cryptic paint?
No. Let me
No.
try to
Yeah,
see.
that's out there.
What?
There's a cryptic paint.
I have not seen the cryptic. See, the cryptic is my gene, but paint is his gene.
And
I don't have
see,
any
that
paint,
that
but
was out in 23.
What?
Yeah.
how did I miss that?
Yeah, me too. Me
But
too.
yeah, I think that's a good building block for two recessive genes. It didn't interact as hard as clown, but it interacted and it interacted to make a difference. So I just, yeah, yeah, with the True Ghost Clown, I'll be curious what the Desert Ghost brings, because Hypo Desert Ghost by itself is, to me, is almost a gene by itself, because Hypo and Desert Ghost look good, but if you put them together, that's like nitrous oxide to an engine. Like, it just makes it just like pop. So
age too.
Yeah, and it
I wonder
just,
if it'd be, if you did kind of like that True Ghost DG kind of thing, would it be just like almost having a white snake? Because when you see the DG Xanthic Clown, it's as age, it almost look white with
and
darker
see, I'm
imprints,
curious if, yeah, I'd be curious if, since DG like accentuates things like that, if it would make it wider faster. But yeah, you can do something with that.
Gosh, that thing looks wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can see the cryptic banding.
Yeah.
All that pixelation.
Now imagine that with like a granite gene in it, like a voodoo or a blackhead, or, you know, even a red stripe, not to mention like an asphalt or a super asphalt. Like, just you start stacking them up, and
super really crazy.
Like, you can make a project just off of that. The Krypton, paint, super asphalt.
Dang.
Yeah, I just
smoking hot. Yeah, that's definitely
any of the super asphalt clowns or super gravel clowns, they look crazy. So
yeah,
I know
and that's another road I think is very, very undertapped, is the supers.
Yeah, Will, we talked about that years ago.
I love them.
The problem was that everybody's like, I don't want to have everything this. Well, now when you have supers, there's no guessing on those certain genes.
Right.
Like
you don't have to play around. You don't have to shed test anything.
Right.
Well, because lace, when people make a single version lace from, you know, they misidentify it a lot. I've seen some of them like, I don't think that's lace. Especially when you add yellow belly into it, you're kind of like, I don't know.
Cryptic paint.
See, I like
66
that.
Ultramel.
Look at that neck. Nice. Look at that neck stripe. I like that.
Yeah, that is cool.
That contrast of those blacks, that's crazy.
Oh, that thing's probably breeding now.
I know, right? Man. Gosh.
But yeah, that's like, you know, that's another avenue. And I'll be honest, man, so I got my paint came with Mogwai. And that's an interesting gene to me.
You got that from Limey then. You had to get that from Limey.
I got the parents came from Limey.
Gotcha. Okay.
I do have a Limey snake though. She's very nice. She's real nice. She loves everybody. She loves when I open that drawer.
I seen Portuguese pythons. They were doing some other guy. I don't know who he was, but
yeah, he had he did a Mogwai paint to like a GHI combo or something. You could definitely tell the difference.
Yes, you can. And when they were breaking it down, I was like, "Ooh, that gene's gonna probably take off." I think it is. It's just due time.
Yeah,
time. More people get it in their hands.
Yeah, that's a subtle that's a subtlety. Because there's definitely something there, and I think there's a super. I would say I would say yes to a super.
Interesting.
Portuguese. Did you see the video that they put up, Will?
Yeah,
it was just the other day.
Yeah, that was on
Or
Instagram.
was it? I'm about
Yeah,
to go look.
it was just the other day.
Yeah.
I'm about to go look.
And see, that's
Wow.
someone he was on they were on 15 Minutes last year, right?
Portuguese. Yep, they were. They were.
Yeah. I'm loving what
Was,
they're
but I
producing
feel
over
sorry
there.
for 'em.
Yeah.
They did a lot of reels too.
Wow. Shoot.
Yeah,
We're
it's
already closing.
there's some cool stuff, man.
I see.
I
Mogwai, I've seen one or two of them, and then when you search around, it's not a ton of them available, but you got to be tapped in, I guess, to see who's moving them. Everybody's not on Morph Market. So.
Yeah, Limey sent me a
Yeah.
couple of pictures of some of the stuff he has. But
yeah, I've seen
yeah,
Man,
it is
let me
available.
he's creating some incredible stuff, especially with Blackhead and working that stuff in the paint, man. And Rec Room, they're
Yeah.
killing the paint game, killing it. Definitely killing it.
Yeah, if he's still in here, he's one of those sleepers, man. One of
Yeah,
those old school sleepers.
Yeah, he doesn't want to come online. Tell him to come online.
he's an
Yeah,
OG.
tell him to do a live.
He ain't doing it,
Well,
man. I would have been brought Limey on, man.
He's old school, and he's just like you. He said he doesn't want to put those stories out there of the stuff that went on back in the day.
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't want to hear that, man. You don't want.
We do. Yeah, we do. I guarantee it'll go viral.
He did a what was it, Storytellers on Chris's Patreon, and I listened to that. I was like, dude, that's so mild. Like that's so mild. That's like the G-rated stuff that happened. Like, oh yeah, y'all hung out till 4. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
I told my Limey story, man. I almost killed him. Almost killed Limey. We were actually out.
Limey, if you're in the chat, come on, man.
And after a show, we've ended with them up in Raleigh. We're having a great time. We've hung out with them a few times already previously. Everybody was there. Mary, her husband, and we're having a blast. And we're getting ready. We kind of early birds, so we started, wrapping it up and getting out of there. So we start shaking everybody's hands and getting ready to get up out of there, pay that tab, and he comes over to give me a handshake, grabs my hand, pulls me in real tight, and licks me from the bottom of my chin all the way up the side of my face. I almost flipped. Oh my gosh. Yeah, oh my gosh. But he is absolutely hilarious. Hilarious.
I still haven't even seen a picture of Limey. I don't even know what Limey looks like. I've heard his voice, but
old as dirt. Old as dirt, I'm telling you. But he's good people, man. He's really, really good people. We're tight. But
shoot, you need to get him on here,
2 hours, bro. I appreciate you hanging out with us for the more of your evening right now, because you're over you're right at the afternoon, right? What time is it?
Yeah, Central Standard Time.
He's central, so he's closer to my time. Well, no, he's in between our time.
Yeah, I'm in between y'all.
Yep.
It's dinner time for us here, so we're gonna get ready to go ahead and go eat. Man, I'm gonna actually inbox you probably this evening. I'm definitely want to talk projects and some of them super normals you have over there and pick your brain on your thoughts. I actually have a project. It's not finalized on a name, but I've called it Chainsaw. Haven't sold anything from it, and I love it. And we're producing some really, really interesting things on it. So I'm definitely going to reach out to you, pick your brain on. What I'm trying to do is not necessarily run with it as a new gene. If it's a new gene, it's a new gene, but I'm definitely going to get tested now after you just kind of
run a full panel, man.
Yeah. And figure that out, but also to pick your brain on the things you've seen over the course of the years. I'm not one of those people that get butt hurt. I want to prove that, if it's this, then it's that gene over there. Cool. And I'll figure it out, but definitely going to reach out to you and touch base with you about that and some of the things you got kind of under wraps over there. But definitely appreciate having you on, man. And
no, I appreciate the invite for real. Thank you.
Yeah. Crazy. Love it. But appreciate everybody tapping in on this Sunday. About to go spend some time with the family. Definitely appreciate everybody commenting and staying for the whole 2 hours.
Yeah,
I
thank
think it was
y'all.
non-stop.
Thank you.
Non-stop the entire time. So, you know, hey,
Get a little bit of history. A little bit
Yeah.
of history too.
a lot of history at this point. But
No
that's
evidence of that history, though.
yeah, no evidence. Hashtag no evidence.
Exactly.
Right now,
Exactly.
Well,
allegedly.
Allegedly, you can't prove it.
allegedly. There we go. That's where you gotta plug that in, allegedly. But we'll be tapping back in another 2 weeks after the new year for the first episode of 2025. So appreciate you guys. Enjoy your time with your family. Love you guys. And we out.
Y'all take it easy.